Okay, today we're going to be doing some geometric dilution. I have calamine, I have talc, and my mortar, pestle, and spatula. Take my calamine and I just toss it right in there. It's 0.2 milligrams of calamine. And I have my lactose, which is my excipient. Remember, when you're doing geometric dilution, you want to take the smallest item you have and dilute it with your excipients. In the case, the calamine is diluted with my talc. So I take about the same amount of calamine I added in there, and I add the same amount of lactose. Make it about 50-50. It's not an exact science. Just eyeball it. Take my mortar and pestle and I triturate it. Now, as you know about triturating, we're breaking down the particle size. We're also doing some mixing as well. So don't just limp wrist this. Put in some muscle. You do gotta put some work into doing some compounding. I like to take my rubber spatula and I like to scrape all the powder off of the sides before I add my next amount of excipient. That way it just gives me a better visualization of how much I have and how much I need to add. So I eyeball it, and again, I'm going to scoop out the same amount that's in my mortar. I'm going to add that in talc. So once I have that, I'm going to mix it. Now, I'm going to speed up the video a little bit so it doesn't take as much time, but what you're going to see is I triturate some more, I add more lactose, and I do that a couple times until I get my final mix. Okay, it's also important to note that you don't want to use any metal pieces inside of the glass mortar and pestle. It'll scratch up the sides, mar it up, and allow drug or excipient to get mixed in there. It's stuck, and that's not good. Now what you're going to see in a little bit is when I add the last of the lactose using my weigh boat, what I'm going to do is fold it up kind of like, it looks like a triangle. That's a really easy way to get things out of these larger weigh boats and even the smaller ones. Flicking it also helps. Just gotta watch out for dust in case any flies up. You don't want to inhale any of that or get any of it on you. You're also, if any dust flies up, you're losing drug. So you gotta think about that when you're mixing anything. If you spill anything, that the patient is not going to get that drug that you just spill. Alright? Now next, I'm gonna take my powder that I triturated and mixed using geometric dilution. I'm going to scrape it all down to the bottom, as you can see, and I'm going to place it on a piece of paper. And at the end, I'll compare it to one that I did where I didn't do geometric dilution. But as you can see, it's a pretty smooth consistency. There's no bright pink spots or anything, or really white spots, so it's a good mix. Okay, this time we're not going to do any geometric dilution whatsoever, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my calamine second, just so you can see it easier. Adding in all of my talc, flicking it to make sure I get everything out, as you can see. I'm going to take my calamine, and I'm just going to dump it in there, flick that to get everything off of it. Going to take my pestle and then just start triturating it. Now I'm going slow so I don't have anything fly out like I did at the end of my last video. Now I'm speeding the video up just so it's not so long, but as you can see, I just keep triturating and mixing it using the mortar and pestle. And as you can see, it looks like it's a pretty even consistency. But I'm going to scrape it down, I'm going to pour it out on this piece of paper, and we'll see how it looks when I pour it out. So I'll bring over my paper, and then we'll be able to see how it compares to my geometrically diluted one. Okay, as you can see, it already looks a little bit whiter. Let's spread it out. You can see some pink in there that's more concentrated in some areas than others, especially there, and there's some at the tip there. And the other one, it doesn't have that at all. It's all a nice even pink. That one has variances in it. So that's not good. The patient won't get the right dose every time, which is bad.